The first thing I'm going to do is to give the entire canvas a coat of acrylic medium. This is gloss gel, but you can use matte or liquid form, it doesn't really matter. But while it's wet, I'm going to get some raw umber and paint that into it. This will give me a nice imprimatura to paint onto, a coloured ground. Now with some more raw umber while it's wet, and just with a large bristle brush there, I'm just going to put in the basic composition. I'm going to have some big trees here on this right hand side. I'm going to have a little dirt track coming down around this little bend there at the top. So it's going to be like that basically. This is all basic shapes at the moment. This is all I'm interested in doing, are the basic shapes in just raw umber. I'll have a little centre line down that track as well, and a shadow going across it into this really dark area on the right hand side. So I'll paint all this relatively dark, just get the basic shape of the tree in, and then this is going to be nice and dark, but I'm not doing it very black to very dark to start with, because I want this layer to dry, then I can paint over the top. So I'll dry this layer off now, because that's the basic composition done. Then once it's dry, I can start to add other colours. Now I'm using Payne's Grey and raw umber here to put in these dark areas. And I should say that this is a limited palette Impressionist painting on a 10 by 8 inch canvas in acrylics. So the limited palette basically limits me to titanium white, Payne's Grey, yellow ochre, burnt sienna, raw umber, and that's it. I think I've mentioned them all there. There's not many colours, but the advantage of this is you don't get confused and befuddled by a myriad of colours. Just keep it simple to these few colours that I've got here on my palette. And these are earth colours, so they produce this beautiful earthy kind of overall colouring to the painting, which is very reminiscent of old masters style. Just sign my name there in that wet paint while it's wet, because the old masters obviously didn't have access to very bright colours, and the ones that they did have access to were very, very expensive in those days. So they tended to paint more with earth colours, which were much more common and more economical for them. So if you find that you use those earth colours, your painting will naturally come out looking very old master stylish-ish. I hasten to add ish, because it does all depend at the end of the day on your ability. But this style of painting, this loose impressionist style of painting, can suit anyone. Now don't make the mistake I did when I started off my painting career. I just wanted to paint realistic and photorealistic, and I think a lot of artists do when they're in their early stages. And it was only later on in life that I realised that the beauty that could be had from loose painting and impressionist style painting. And it took me quite a while to learn how to do that, because I was indoctrined into that way of painting, really detailed and photographic. So it takes a lot of doing to sort of get that out of your system. I mean, it never fully goes, you've still got it there. But if you can start painting loose right from the start, you'll find it a lot easier than if you try to do realism painting and then try the change later on. Okay, I'm adding some variation now into that layer. The first colour layer is more or less dry, so I'm just adding variations into those layers using the burnt sienna and white, perhaps a little bit of raw umber in there as well, just to mute the brightness of that colour. And a little bit of yellow ochre now, with a touch of the Payne's Grey. It's still got some of the burnt sienna in there, so it's a little bit warmer. But I can make that a little bit lighter now, just to put in the basic shapes of these bushes on the left-hand side here, and the tree on the right-hand side. Okay. Now, that dark area of the tree is dry, so I can now go over with a third layer. And this is making it a little bit darker now, but you can still see some of those brush strokes through it, which creates that interest. Dark areas should always be thin paint, and build it up so that you can see little areas underneath it in those subsequent layers that create that interest through the layers that you're putting over the top. So darks should be thin and the lights should be thick. This is how the old masters painted. So if you're going to put any impasto anywhere, do it in your light areas and the lightest areas. So I'm just putting some of the darks there into that bank on the left hand side as well. A bit of yellow ochre and white. And I can put in some lighter areas on these trees, just here and there, one or two. All these brush strokes are building up and adding up as they're going layer upon layer. Now back to the sky, I'm just going to put in a darker area now over that dried layer. And this is going to give me a nice colouring upon which to paint the white clouds. Now it doesn't matter if some of that yellow ochre comes off into the mix of the blue sky, the grey blue sky, because it just adds to that old master effect. Those little colours just adding to that Payne's grey, those yellow ochres, can just add to the overall colour harmony. Just putting some of those lights in there of the sky around the tree there. You can see what I mean about it picking up some of the yellow ochre. Doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter. I'll be adding all sorts of other colours into the sky in a moment. I'll just got to get this darker first. Get this still not as dark as I want it to be, so I will have to do another layer on that, I think. Now a bit of warmth into that mix of the sky now, and I can, it's a bit too dark, so I'll add a little bit more of the Payne's grey and white to give me this warm neutral grey tone I can put into the sky. Just here and there, not everywhere, just creates that level of variety in the colour of the sky. Now back to this dark area here. Now that has dried, once again that layer has dried, so I'm going over the top with another layer. This is slightly darker, but it's still relatively thin, so you can still see some of those brush strokes through there. Again, it just creates that interest, which without it would be quite flat and boring and uninteresting. So keep your dark areas, let them have variety. I'll do some over here as well on this side, because I'll be going over with other colours, other lighter colours in a moment, like that. So this is a relatively small brush I'm using here. It's a little nylon brush, and just putting some variety in, some little shadows here and there. Now back to that burnt sienna and do some little marks here in this track, this dirt track, with the burnt sienna. And again, I'll be going over with lighter areas. So I'll just put some lights in now into this track just to define it a little bit better. Yeah, I want it running in between those shadows as well. I'll do that in a moment. Let's just put a few of these lights in like that. I can go a little bit lighter still with one or two. And they will dry slightly darker as they dry. But that's giving me the overall effect that I'm looking for there. Bit of yellow ochre into that white, and I can put in the lights again of the tree. Just basic shapes. I'm not interested in doing each leaf. Bit of Payne's grey into that will give me a much more of a green tone now. You can see how much variety you can get in colour just with these few colours. So if you've never tried a simplified palette before, or a limited palette, do give this a go. I think you'll find it much easier. Much easier than dealing with that vast array of colours that you have in front of you at the moment, perhaps. Just try keeping it simple. I think you'll be surprised with the results. I don't think you'll want to go back to many other colours once you've done this, once you've painted like this. I'm going to add some warmth into this area here, just to create a variety of colour. And just by adding a little bit of burnt sienna into that green tone that I had, just warms it up slightly. So a little burnt sienna will warm it up, and a little Payne's grey would cool it down with a little bit of white. So you have to think about where you're going to put cool colours and warm colours when you're painting. I'll just put a few of these warmths all over the painting, really. I'm just applying these colours generally throughout the painting just to keep the colour harmony going. Get those lights again now, because I want to just adjust the bank on the left hand side there and just put a few little mid-tones in there. So it looks like the bank is joining with the path. It's not a separate entity. It blends with it. And I'll do a similar thing on this side here, just in between the shadows. Just lighten up a couple of those little areas. And that background, well, that background field needs to be lighter. So I'll just lighten that up a little bit. Like that. That's much better. I'll just blend that now with the other areas. I'll just put some little highlights in as well. Once again, you see how that path now, that track is starting to come alive. Now I'm going into the sky once again, putting these bright areas of clouds in, really quite bright now, with white with a tiny touch of yellow ochre just to keep it warm. Like that, with a small brush. And then putting those blues back in again, and then a little intercolour between the blue and the white, a mixture, just to blend that in, like that. And also the areas around these light areas. So I'm going to need to get this a bit darker still, I think. So a bit of Payne's grey and white, perhaps a little bit more, go a little bit darker still. That's a bit better. You can see I'm using this brush. I could use a larger brush, but I'm using this small brush and just doing little dabs here of paint and then putting the lights against it. If it's not running too well, you could spray it with water. Light mist spray would help the paint to flow, but I quite like the effect this brush is having of those little ripples of clouds there. So that was an accident, but these happy accidents occur and you should always leave them. They say only a fool destroys a happy accident. So let that be your guide. If you make a happy accident and it turns out amazing, leave it. Don't touch it. Okay, I'm just going to put some really thick light areas around the outside edges of these clouds here and elsewhere, any other clouds. And then I can move that with my finger. If you just wet the end of your finger and move it, it will blend it like that. Really quite subtle. And people will say, how did you blend that acrylic like that? Well, you just use your finger. I'm going to put some sky holes in now. These are the areas of sky that you can see through the trees. And this can sometimes bring these dark areas to life, where you can see some of the light appearing through those dark areas. And don't put them everywhere, just here and there, just one or two here and there. Think about the actual formation of the tree and what it looks like. Okay, with this old brush, with the bristles get splayed quite easily now, I'm just going to put some of these light areas of foliage in a random fashion, not being neat about this at all, and I'll just put some other tones in here as well, little darker ones as they fall down into the lower edges of the tree, like that, and some over in this other side as well, just one or two. I'll put some lighter areas as well on the tops. Just very, very basic shapes, not individual leaves, just basic shapes. Very useful brush, this old brush. Don't ever get rid of your old brushes. Just going to do some highlights once again into this dirt track, and then with the same brush, and then I'll put some into the soil as well, just a few little dots and dashes here and there on this side, just to create variety. Then I'll do the same over on the right hand side, and then once I've done that, that's the painting finished. If you have enjoyed this video and hopefully found it interesting and entertaining, please don't forget to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. Be sure to click on the little bell icon if you wish to be notified of my latest videos. I am always interested in your questions and comments, and I do try to answer every one of them. Hopefully I will see you on my next painting video, so until then, have a lovely day and happy painting!